good, Potato? Spin the Leak here, and it's 3 in the morning. I'm going to put my douchebag hat on from my high school days just so I can mark the video in the thumbnail. Not really for, you guys on YouTube, but me for editing. And it's time for a very hasty movie review about The Monster, a 2016 film, roughly an hour, 31 minutes long. And it's actually pretty good. It's not often I get to talk about a 2016 movie that isn't complete and total shit. The movie follows Kathy, an alcoholic and overwhelmed mother, and her daughter, Lizzie, who probably wishes she was a latchkey kid, standing over her mother while she's in a drunken stupor, holding a knife to her cheek, and just wishing she would fucking disappear. That got dark. But it is in the movie, without a doubt. So, where do I start? Kathy is pretty much a terrible mother. From what I've seen, she is verbally abusive. She drinks. She actually did hit her daughter a couple of times, but she does try for her. She has tried to give up drinking multiple times, and Lizzie is really just kind of stuck in a void. She's stuck between her mother and her father, and she's trying to stay strong. She loves her mother. She lives with her mother. But at the same time, life would be easier with her father, which is why, at that point in the movie, they go on a little bit of a road trip. This is already going great. I can tell that I'm stumbling over my words. I am fucking exhausted. Give me a second to focus myself. Needless to say, they have an extremely strained and damaged relationship with one another, the mother and daughter duo, but, both of them still try in their own regard. It's not perfect, but they do try to work towards, some semblance of normality. Kathy is taking Lizzie to stay with her father, and she doesn't expect to ever get her back. Which, in all honesty, probably not going to happen, especially since she is, too far gone. On their road trip, a very awkward one, they hit a wolf, and they do what pretty much everyone does whenever you hit a wolf after midnight. They panic for a second, assess the damage, call 911, and then poke the dead wolf while waiting for assistance. At which point, everyone who comes to actually assist them is set upon by a giant monster from somewhere in the woods. It's essentially Cujo if Cujo was a giant hairless gorilla instead of a dog. But it is a good monster flick. That was the big thing. It's not every day you get a half-decent monster flick that doesn't strictly rely on CG. There's a little bit of a costume going on there, and there's an excellent dynamic and a little bit of fear within the film as to what's actually going to happen. Me, whenever I watch a film like this, I always wonder, these guys have the balls to kill a kid? When they do, I'm pleased. When they don't, I'm pleased. Either way, whenever there's a child involved, extraneous trauma added onto it, I tend to have fun with it. Not just because I feel the kids need to be traumatized, but really because I feel like, the world's a terrible place. Everyone's got to grow up sometime. Now, there is one big thing I didn't like in this movie, and I did enjoy this movie, but I will save that for after I rank it, and, because it is a spoiler. It is something that I was very unhappy with, and it's something that I have issue with in a lot of movies. But this one is going to walk away with a solid... Well, since it was a half-decent monster flick, there was an actual emotional investment into characters, and it was well executed, both cinematography, lighting, and plot. Well, not just both, that's technically 3 things. But yeah, no, since all 3 were well executed, I'm going to give it 3 potatoes solid. Nope, 3.1. 3.1 potatoes. It doesn't get the 3.5, it gets the 3.1. It gets an extra french fry, or maybe like the dust at the bottom of a Lay's bag or some shit, whatever. Just a little bit of that sprinkled over your baked potato. It's a good film. I'd probably rewatch it, but at the same time, I wasn't fully entertained. I was invested in the characters, but I wasn't too heavily drawn towards them. Now begins the spoiler. Kathy dies. So, Kathy actually takes some serious damage during the onset of one of the beast's attacks, and it results in, hemorrhaging and internal bleeding, and she realizes that she's going to die, regardless of whether or not she encounters a monster or stays hidden with her daughter. And she decides to make a sacrifice. She talks Lizzie through it. There's a lot of tears. There's a lot of emotions going around. and she begins to enact the plan. They discover that the monster is actually sensitive to light. Which I don't fucking get, because if that was the case, Jesse, the tow truck guy, he wouldn't have fucking died. He had a flashlight, he was in the headlights of a car, an ambulance rolled up, its brights were on, his car's brights were on, there was lights all over that fucking road. There was even street lights in the middle of the fucking forest. But somehow this fucker is weak to whatever flashlight they happen to have on them at the time. So, Kathy makes a makeshift torch, wanders out into the wilderness with instruction that on her mark, Lizzie is supposed to run. Lizzie does not run. Whenever Kathy gets mauled by the creature, instead, Lizzie runs over and starts smacking it with a hammer. It runs off after she shines a light in its face, and that leads to a little bit of a tearful goodbye between the two. In essence, the sacrifice was really for nothing. It was just kind of hastening the death. And I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not a fan of directors and writers just imposing that emotion. You know what I mean? I see way too much in filmmaking. I'm not happy with people saying, now you have to be sad. It is time to go ahead and cry. Have at it. There are very few things that make me sad in movies, and there's a good few things that piss me off. This is one of them. I don't care whether Kathy lives or dies. I don't care if her daughter lives or dies. All I care about is a story well told. And that's the big thing. The plot doesn't have to hold together. The visuals, they don't have to be perfect. I want, some big takeaway. I want to be entertained by this. Yes, I was wrapped up in it. But at the same time, the entire experience was ruined when you said, it's time to make the audience cry just so this is memorable. It's not. That's not how this fucking works. Yeah, you know why I'm not involved in any of the Percy Jackson shit? First of all, I saw one movie when I was in high school. And I decided I would never see another one, never have any involvement with it, because they killed off a character and revived them 5 seconds later after every single character in the movie cried about it. I don't dig that shit. There's no revival here, but at the same time, I don't like being told, she sacrificed herself. She's a hero now. No, she was an abusive alcoholic who finally did something right by her daughter. That I can appreciate. But I'm not going to go bawling my eyes out because the little girl couldn't take instructions and then come back and kill the monster by herself like a total fucking boss. I'm not cool with that. No, there is nothing about that made me happy. Not one thing. But aside from that, movie's solid. Like, comment, subscribe, keep on, keep it on. See you in the next one. And go ahead and stop this. I rambled, like I said. It's 3 in the fucking morning. Does that count for, I could probably just redo this. Nah, fuck it.